Hello, and welcome to the Agency Operating System Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Fisher, and today we're going to be doing an episode with just me. So, coffee cheers to that. The reason being is that my co-host, Elijah, had other commitments this morning, and our other guest was struggling with a toddler. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Anyways, I'm here and I'm happy to do a quick episode for you. And I thought today would be a great opportunity for me to just kind of give you some insider information about who is Agency Coach. What are we all about? What are we like on the inside? And what's the vibe? You know, a lot of people come in search of coaching and they need a certain vibe in order to really feel like they're getting what they need out of coaching, right? And everybody has different needs, everybody has different personalities. And you've got to really feel that there's something there that will mesh, right? And so, of course, we're not going to be a fit for everybody. Of course not, right? Just like certain relationships don't work out, certain types of service providers don't work out. You probably have had, if you're an agency owner and you've had a client that didn't work out, it was probably because you just weren't a good fit. And that's okay. And we appreciate that. We strive to find people that fit in our community, and we want them to be excited to change things, excited to, make a commitment to what they want to build, what they want to grow, what they want to change. And those are the types of people that we're looking for. And then, for us, we're a bunch of people just really excited to help you. And, our co-founders, Mike and AJ, Mike came from, building an agency from the ground up in college, and AJ came on board with a background in, corporate sales and stuff that he was doing over at Intuit. And together they just started building this really amazing agency in Tucson, Arizona. And then some other people came on board, like Trey. Trey was there, and Lily and Jill, who actually now run the agency that's called Anchor Wave. And then Craig came along and he was doing sales at Anchor Wave. And I came along and I was actually Mike's assistant for a while. I was at a point in my life where I was just kind of struggling to find any kind of work. So my massive background in project management was put to use initially just doing some emails and email sorting and responding to Mike's inbox and stuff like that. So, but all of us have been around for a really long time, and we're extremely committed to helping the people that are in our community. We thrive on it. It's what we wake up for. It's what we get excited about. We all play really unique roles inside the company. Like we all have our special skill set, and I think it makes for a very powerful team. So what's going to happen is we're going to definitely bring in each of the team members and have a discussion with them, because I think it's really important that you get to know who we are on the inside and what we're all about and what you're joining. What are you becoming a part of, right? So we've got, like I said, these different skill sets and all these people that are really awesome in our team, and we're here to help you. So the vibe at Agency Coach is really, like I said, we want you to succeed. So our vibe and our motivation on a daily basis is, how can we put you in the right direction? How can we take this one little roadblock or big roadblock, this huge obstacles, if it happens to be that, and how can we help you break that down? How can we get you moving in a direction that really makes a difference for you? Because, a lot of times when you're solo, the biggest thing that happens when you're working on your business by yourself is you just get stuck in your head, right? And we're on the outside looking in. That's what coaches are all about, right? So we're on the outside looking in, and we can say, hey, this is what I see for you, right? So like, let's take me for an example. My specialty, my areas of expertise are all in operational types of things. So I'm a behind the scenes person, and I'm going to be like making sure that execution is happening. So there's somebody else has the big idea, somebody else is on the external view, say in sales or what have you. And I'm behind the scenes making sure that it's all happening as efficiently as possible, right? That it's happening with consistency with my systems, process background, just operations in general. I also just have a way about dealing with people in such a way that I, like Mike likes to always say, like, if you're trying to fire a client, talk to Tanya about how to go about doing that. And it really just comes down to the way that I communicate. So I have a lot of skills in communication and kind of how to deal with people. And that again is my background in like project management, dealing with vendors, things like that. So anyways, let's say that you come to me and you say, "Hey, I'm stuck. I've got this problem and the problem is operational. It's not as efficient as it could be. You're struggling. You're spending all this time in delivery and you're wanting to make something easier for yourself, right?" And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to take a look at what's going on and I'm basically just going to say, "Look, like let's cut out the bullshit, Let's cut out this crap that you don't need to be doing or get through to the point of clarity, right? Because a lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll say, "Well, I've got, this many clients, but I don't think I can handle more." Okay, well, why can't you handle more? What is holding you up? Well, I don't have enough resources for service delivery. Okay, well, where can we automate? Where can we offload it to somebody else? Where can we, just build in efficiencies? Where can we make the time that it takes you to do this part shorter? Right. And so that's like where I come in and I do that kind of stuff. And I say, this is where we can really help you. Another person on our team who's great at stuff like that would be Trey. So Trey comes in and he sees automation. He sees the ability to build a system, and I do this too, but Trey's got these more technical skills. So he might be, setting you up in your CRM and a in Zapier, and he's like building out all of these things. He was working in something the other day that was really, really interesting. A new tool that's kind of like Zapier, but I think it's called N8N, and it's like a workflow where you can basically map it out, and each step is doing these automated things that you need it to do. And that's the other thing. Like that's a perfect example of us as team members. We're always looking to grow ourselves, right? So not only do we want you to grow, but we are constantly in growth mode. And we're always looking for what's the latest trends, what's happening in marketing, digital marketing, especially, like Mike loves that kind of stuff. He's always going to be looking for what's happening and the latest trends and stuff like that. So we're always following along with really cutting edge types of information and strategies and stuff like that that could be very useful. And we're always growing so that we can help you grow, right? Because if I'm stuck in an old school mindset of how to, onboard your clients or, manage your projects or something like that, that's not going to help you in the day and age where everything is highly automated. There's new tools. There's, as an example, I tell people, I say, I used to work in Microsoft Project, which is a tool that I think it still exists, but it is a very big, cumbersome, to every single task, it's line itemed and resources get applied to it, all this stuff, right? You don't need that, right? So I'm looking for a tool that makes sense for you to manage your projects. And I'm keeping abreast of what are the latest tools, what's everybody doing that they love. And, tools like Notion or ClickUp or something like that. That's more modern. That's a better fit. For the current environment. So we're always growing too, right? And, sometimes we change things up. Well, the reason we change things up is because we see a better way to do it. We see a better way to teach you how to do it. So we're, constantly upgrading, updating, making changes, really like bringing as much to the table for you as we possibly can. So that's like who we are. I mean, that's just in a nutshell. And obviously there's so much more to say. And like I said, we want to bring on each of our team members to introduce you to them so that you know who you're working with. Does it feel like a good fit for you? Do you like these people that are agency coach, and what are they all about? What do they sound like? How do they talk? How do they present themselves? Is it, would you want to be in that room with them, right? So that's internally. And then, once you're in with us, there's also this wonderful community, and we have We used to have a big Facebook group. We still have the Facebook group. It's just not as active as it used to be, mainly because Facebook is not as there's not as much momentum in Facebook groups, I think, as there used to be. So we moved to a newer platform called School. Again, going back to my point, which is we're always looking for where is the next new thing? Where are people hanging out? How are people using the tools? So we went from a Facebook community to a school community, and we've got some really great traction in there. We've got, I don't know, I think we're up around 2,500 members now, and a lot of people chatting and asking questions and looking for support from other people in the same industry. So we answer questions, but also your peers answer questions. Who doesn't love that, right? So there's a good vibe there in the school community. Of course, there's coaching calls, and then that's when everybody is on a Zoom together, and you can see all your peers, and you can hang out with them, and you can ask the questions, and you can help each other. And if you're in our mastermind community, you also have Slack, right? So we have a Slack channel or a Slack member area with multiple channels where you can just ask questions, and I see that happening all every week. Every week someone's saying something like, "Oh, hey, I just closed this deal," and everyone else celebrates with them, or "Hey, I'm looking to hire this role. Has anybody hired this role before? Do you have a job description I can borrow?" Or something like that, right? Like we see a lot of people just leaning on their peers for stuff like that, and that's a great vibe in the community aspect. So we're big on that, right? We're big on the community piece. We're big on all of us inside the team helping you. That's Agency Coach. We're a tight knit team, and we have a lot to offer. And I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch. I'm just really trying to give you an insight into who we are, what we're all about. And this is just me and just my words. I'm not, like reading off of our website or anything like that. You can do that. I'm leaving that to you for sure, to do your research to find out. But, also feel free to jump on a call and talk to someone about how we can help you. Because when you jump on a call with us, we listen to who you are, what you're all about, where you're trying to go, why you're not there yet. And then we say, well, here's the things that we can offer you. If you're interested, awesome, sign up. If you're not, that's okay too. But it gives you an opportunity to have the conversation and to find out, is coaching what I need? Is Agency Coach who I need? And am I ready to make that commitment? Am I ready to go all in for the next several months and really shift my business? So I encourage you to at least have the conversation. Anyways, that's enough for today. Told you it would be short. We will hopefully be back with guests and or co-hosts on the next episode. But thanks so much for joining. This is the AOS podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya Fisher.